This video was brought to you by Noble Knight Games. More about them at the end of the video. Hey everybody, Kimberly here, and I'm excited to share with you a spoiler-free review and overview of My Island. This is a legacy game where players are going to play 24 episodes that are sectioned into chapters, which means there are 8 chapters. And each chapter comes with a super secret envelope that will reveal new rules, new goals, and new scoring methods for players as they continually build and change their personal island. Oh, this looks like so much fun. I can't wait. We've got a whole envelope labeled Chapter 1, The Arrival, and we are going to have our own island board with polyominoes. Can't get better than this. This is for 2 to 4 players, and I will say that in this legacy game, I played with 3. Now, when I played My City in 2020, I played a 4-player game of that, and more recently I played My City Roll and Build with 2 players. So I feel like I've gotten a lot of my blank under my belt here. Now, I'm going to talk about maybe a little bit of comparison to those 2 games, and how I liked My Island, but the first thing I want to do is just start off by saying My Island, no spoilers here, asks players to take these personal polyominoes that they have, different hex shapes of 2s, 3s in a line, 3s in a triangle, and then 4s that are in kind of like a diamond shape. They're going to place these into their personal island based on a deck of cards that has every single one of those tiles pictured on it. Alright, doesn't look too hard. We're going to want to place houses on beach spaces, not leave any beach, but we can only go in the beach in the heather, not in the forest or the palm. Okay, let's draw the first card. Looks like a 3B, house, road. I'm going to place this cha. Hopefully that will be good. The deck gets shuffled at the beginning of the round, and one player's just going to flip the card over, everybody takes that tile, and they will place it onto their island. They must start on a beach space, so one of their hexes must be a beach location, which you'll see is that sandy colored on the perimeter. Now, in the very opening scenarios or episodes, you're only allowed to place in certain locations, which is the beach and the heather. There is also the palm area, and then the forest area. So players are going to discover and explore their island, trying to find out the mysteries of it, and what essentially it harbors, or what kind of secrets it has, which I think has a lot of mystery and intrigue, particularly because every time you open up an envelope, there might be secret pieces or cards or bits in there that change the way the game functions, not fundamentally, but in a nice, light rule change fashion. So they're going to place the tile down, then everyone's going to do it at the same time. I love the simultaneous play in this game, and the next tile you place, and every tile thereafter, has to be placed adjacent to a previously placed tile that has at least one matching symbol of the same type. There are 4 different types in this game. You've got the blue, which is the wall, you've got the yellow, which is the field, the red is the house, and the green is the road. And so that's the only rule after that, is to place adjacent to a previously placed tile with one of those hexes matching side by side flush. We all ready? Let's do our next card. Blue and red. So this has to go adjacent, and houses want to be on beach spaces for points. So let's go like this. Done. Super easy, right? That's okay. Seems pretty simple. I mean, basic rules. This is for 10 and up, and I would say every game should take about half an hour. And I think in the very beginning of the game, in those first early chapters, each game or episode does take about half an hour. I will say though, that the games that we did took a lot longer, more into 40 and 45 minutes per game as we moved into the second half of this game, essentially chapters 5 through 8. We gotta play 2 more games tonight? I mean, each game is supposed to take half an hour. So when we would play 3 back to back to back, which I think is encouraged, we played the same thing with My City, the games began to wear on us in a sense that we were like, okay, here's our first game. We've got brand new set of rules, brand new components, brand new somethings, whatever it is, the developments in the game. And then we had to do that. Then they were going to add a couple more, maybe add a couple more. And then there was also a chapter arc. There was essentially a goal for you to reach or essentially avoid getting a penalty at the end of the chapter. So there were these mini episode arcs, but then there was also a chapter arc. And there was a lot to keep in mind, and there was a lot to juggle. And it started to feel like every episode we were like, oh no, here we go again. What's the new thing? What's this thing? How am I not going to be able to achieve this? How am I not going to be able to do that? And these basic rules, this basic premise of placing down a tile, everyone does it simultaneously, and we flip the next one over. And it just seems, again, so easy, straightforward. All of a sudden becomes this massive crunch because you start to have too many goals that you have to keep in mind, and you have to make really tough decisions. So every time a card is flipped over, there was a lot of hemming and hawing and thinking and analyzing and turns this and turns that. And there were many, many episodes where we had all of our tiles essentially laid out where we want them to go, hoping that they come in the right order at the right time so that we could accomplish all of our mini goals, our major goals, and of course the chapter goals. I will say that the chapters offered interesting and engaging opportunities for victory points, but there were a lot of them, and towards the end, we realized what the end game had in mind, had in store for us. And I have to say, it was a little bit of a letdown. Now, I'm not going to spoil anything here, but I will say that the final way of scoring the game essentially placed a different balance or a different weight of victory points than we had previously thought. And there were some things that were kept secret that we felt maybe needed some more transparency, essentially foreshadowing in previous chapters. And there were some things that had longer lasting effects and detriments to players that were not foreshadowed either. And so there were some players that were hurt by certain things not being fully explained or talked about in the context of how this thing will be scored and evaluated and penalized. So to some degree, I felt like the last couple of chapters, essentially all those episodes toward the end, maybe like 7 and 8, even going back into just a little bit of 6, were more frustrating than previous chapters. Fine. This is fine. This is just fine. It's tough when you have a legacy game that towards the end, everyone kind of starts going, oh no, we gotta pull out My Island again. We gotta play 3 whole games of it for tonight's game night. And you play once a week. This is what I did. And I wasn't going to play more than 2 months. If I played once a week, that's 8 sit-down sessions. And that's 4, which is 1 a week for 2 months. So that intention of playing all 3 games with similar rules and new components in each chapter is intended, but I think that towards the end, the length, the complexity, and the lack of transparency really wore on us, which was really unfortunate because I love a good tile placement game. I love a fantastically just slight adjusting rule set and components. You know, I love simultaneous play. I think that My Island has a whole bunch in there that I would really enjoy down on paper. But for me, the game kind of let me down. And it's just, again, unfortunate. Now, it got a little stressful, and I will say that most of the time I wasn't remembering or creating any positive experiences or moments. So we were never really pleased. We were never fully satisfied. And every time we would finish the game, we would all be sighing and harumphing. And we never really left feeling great. So it was unfortunate that it kind of just all brought our feelings and our emotions down a little bit. And I really honestly can't remember a joyful moment. Like, you have games, you want legacy games to be, oh, remember when we did this? Remember when I did that? Remember when this card happened and then it did that thing to me? We don't have any stories like that. All we have stories are, remember when that card flipped over and then that whole game was just devastated? Remember when I had to turn over my second tile in the game because I couldn't place it? Remember when this happened? Remember when I got that sticker that did this to me? and forever messed up my board. So all of our memories are the bad things, and it was just so unfortunate. I mean, I love having positive experiences. I love having a nice strategy game. I love having the simultaneous play. But for me, my island did not hit the spot. But if any of those mechanics sound interesting to you, your game might be different. Maybe you'll play faster. Maybe you'll really enjoy those changes. And some of those things that weren't as transparent for my group maybe don't matter to you. Maybe you just want to play and you just say, I want to do a tile placement game. And I want to play a nice, light, family-friendly game that's like my city. Then this game might be for you. I will say that I preferred my city over my island, and I also would prefer my city over my city roll and build. I prefer my island over roll and build, to be honest. There was way too much die rolling luck with that one. There was no banking on certain tiles being left, so it was really hard to plan in my island roll and build. So that one for me comes in last if I'm trying to rank these. So that's going to be my take on my island. Again, I hope I didn't spoil too much. I showed you the fourth board and the components that starts the game, so there are no spoilers. What you were looking at simply were just the basic start components for all 4 players. When you open up the box, I didn't open up any envelopes, not going to spoil anything for you, so if you want to investigate what my island has to offer, you absolutely can. Ooh, this looks like so much fun. Chapter 1. The arrival on my island. Okay, I will see you later, folks. Bye. I can rely on Noble Knight games for the RPGs I'm looking for, along with the board games, war games, minis, card games, and dice that suit my gaming needs. They also have specials running constantly with deals and offers that provide gamers like me and you an opportunity to invest in new and used games that have been quality controlled for accuracy and perfection. Make Noble Knight Games your friendly local game store. Satisfaction guaranteed. Oops.